Two things. One, again, with Tyquan Lewis, just a tough situation for him again. I guess what had he brought to you, and what do you lose with him?
Well, first of all, as a man, I mean, great leader. I think I said 2 games ago against the Chicago game, you could feel it like there's a number of plays we felt like he was a guy in particular that really emptied his tank. But he plays like that every game. I mean, no matter where we put him, if it's inside, if it's outside, you know what you're going to get from him. And, he's going to give you a full day's work. And, even that last play, right, when he got hurt, so tremendous effort, tremendous football IQ, and helps out the younger guys. So, and he's a playmaker for us. So, yeah, that one's going to be a hard on us. But we'll have other guys that will step up. But he's been tremendous for that group, and he'll still be around and in that room helping those guys. That's the kind of guy he is.
Quick follow up. The first, again, the way the run defense started was not what you wanted. But the last 2.5 games, it's been totally different with the depleted personnel. What has the change been? What has happened?
Well, we made a commitment to go back to fundamentals and get back to doing things right. From crack replays to using our hands to getting off blocks, and we did some different things too up front. So, really, like I said before, our guys. I think if you go back to that Green Bay, we talked about keeping the spirit of our defense, and we kind of talked to them about, hey, from the second quarter on in Green Bay, it was like, 30 some carries for 90 yards. And then they added that on to the Chicago game. And then they added it on to this past game. So I think there's a confidence level that, we always had it in us. We just had to get back to the fundamentals and do things right. So we're still not there yet. I mean, there's some plays that were left out. Our tackling has improved, but still not where it needs to be. But at least, they can see that there's progress being made.
Thanks, Gus.
James.
Gus, what have you seen from EJ Speed? Obviously, we see like the records, the history that he's putting up, but just from a defensive coach's perspective, how has he elevated his game this season?
Well, I think, EJ's always has great speed. Time him in a 40, see him on the field run. But I think what's different now this year is just his instincts. He's always had them, but I think with his knowledge of the defense, you're seeing him play even faster. And, for him, the mother of learning is repetition. That's for everybody, and EJ's no different. So he's got a lot of reps at it, and he's just playing really fast right now for us and doing a good job. The will position by nature is a position that's going to be around the ball a lot, and he's taking advantage of his opportunities.
JJ?
Hey, Gus, sometimes when a safety has as many tackles as Nick has, it's not always a sign of a good thing. But given how much he plays in the box and in the slot, how important is he to the run defense, the way that you guys want to play there with that?
This is great. The strong safety position, just like I said with EJ, is going to be around the ball a lot. So is the strong safety. I give Nick a lot of credit now. He's been a guy like the last 3 games or so that you're really starting to see him get comfortable in what is asked of him, and he's playing fast. And here's a guy that played free safety and was just getting into the feel of it. And then we moved him to strong safety, and there was really no hitch. He's a bigger physical type player, so he can hold up in the box. He does a good job with his keys and using his hands and things like that. So he's playing pretty well for us right now. But to answer your question, JJ, you're right. The strong safety, whether it's in split safety or down in the box, he's going to be around the ball a lot and going to have opportunities to make a lot of plays. And we like his physical nature that he's playing with right now.
As a follow-up, Gus, has he kind of like learned over the last couple of years of how to use that physicality and speed within this defense?
I think he always had it, but I don't think he always played fast. And now that he's playing faster, I think you're starting to see his skill set show up even more.
Nate?
Hey, Gus, we know Trevor Lawrence has always been a guy who gets the ball out of his hands really quickly. In this matchup, he tends to do that against you guys a good amount. So kind of knowing that going in, what's going to be key to either making him hold the ball more or be able to kind of handle him when he is throwing that quickly?
Well, you're right. I mean, they do both, right? They take their shots. They had a couple shots against Houston that, were just off the fingertips or overthrown a little bit. So that, they kind of do a combination. It feels like, once he gets into a rhythm, he starts getting into a rhythm. He's really good. So it's going to be important for us to understand. We know there's the quick game, the RPOs, but there's the shots too. And he's got a lot of threats on the perimeter, a lot of guys. He doesn't go to one guy, but he feels comfortable to use all of his weapons. So, we're seeing him back there play with some poise. They just have, had some misfortune, but it's still, when you watch it, I mean, it is a coordinated offense, and you can see what they want to do. They want to get a run game going, get the ball out of his hands, get it to the skilled players. There's just been a couple plays here and there that have kept them from being in a situation where, they were to start with a better record.
Joel?
Gus, how important has Dio been, just given what you guys have lost in terms of Buck? And I mean, it seems like he's probably leading you guys in pressures right now. How big has he been for the pass rush?
He's been really, really important, Joel. In our defense, you have like the big ends, and then there's the Leo types, that, and, like Latu can be both. And, but maybe Zay can be, he's more of a Leo type. And, so you have that flexibility where Dio, because of some of the injuries we've had, it's important to have that physicality on the edge. And that's what Dio brings. He can rush, he can set the edge, he's stout, he's strong, so versus the run, especially, he's an important piece. So, we've lost some guys there that, with the Tyquan and Quiddy and, guys like that. So he becomes even that much more valuable to us.
Is it possible that, I know, Tommy has been a defensive tackle for you guys, but he's got defensive end in his background. Is it possible that he might have to slide back out some?
Yeah, we're looking at all options right now. That's the good thing about him, is he does have some flexibility for us.
And we'll take our last question from Kent.
Gus, last year when Grover was suspended, the run defense kind of took a step back. With Grover playing and other guys kind of being winnowed away through injury, it seems like the run defense just kind of keeps moving along. How big a deal is Grover toward that end?
Well, I mean, a big part of it, the style that we play, there's going to be teams that attack that side quite a bit. So you have to have a force in there. And he's a guy that can be, his physical nature, he's strong at the point. He's got the quickness to penetrate, and he can be disruptive up front. So he is a big piece. And I think, to follow up with your question, that's why Raekwon was brought in as well, because a bigger body type guy. So there's times when you see Raekwon and Grove in there at the same time where we're trying to get even bigger. So, I think the addition, along with Grove giving us the flexibility where he can play some 3 technique, just gives us a different presence in there compared to when we're a little bit lighter.